Hey there and welcome back. Obamacare, it must be replaced, quote, very quickly. Who said that? I'll let you guess. And any congressional lollygagging will be unacceptable. It was President-elect Trump when asked how long Republicans plan to take to install their own plan. Now, once they repeal Obamacare, well, it's easier said than done. The sentiment echoed by President Obama himself in his farewell address last night.
I've said, and I mean it, if anyone can put together a plan that is demonstrably better than the improvements we've made to our health care system, that covers as many people at less cost, I will publicly support it.
If you go to my aunt's house and she gives you Band-Aids and mouthwash, that would be better than Obamacare. Today, Trump said that he will repeal and replace Obamacare simultaneously, but offered very few specifics on how it would be done. So how is this going to work? Glenn Hall joins me. He's the U.S. news editor at the Wall Street Journal. Glenn, it's not a lack of plans, and there are a lot of people like to say the Republicans don't have any plans. They've got so many plans. How on earth are they going to narrow them down?
That is really the problem, right? There's a lot of different ways you can provide health care and a lot of different ways you can pay for that. And all those plans are out there, but nobody agrees on any one. And how they all fit together in some omnibus plan, that's even harder to come up with, right?
And they're talking about the budget reconciliation process, which would take anything that has to do with federal spending or taxes within Obamacare and start pulling layers of the onion away in that sense. However, that doesn't get to things like pre-existing conditions and the individual mandate and other parts that are very tumultuous.
Yeah, so reconciliation touches only on the budget side, the taxes and the spending, right? So that guts the plan, takes the money away from it, so you strangle it a little bit, but that doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't replace. So that's the repeal part, but not the replace part. The reason they like that plan is because reconciliation doesn't allow for a filibuster, so they can get the simple majority and get it passed.
You know what it's like? It's like going in for a liver operation. You take the old bad liver out. It's like, well, you don't have bad liver anymore. That's the good news. But they got to procure the fresh one and put that inside of you before you can live again.
Yeah, and they don't have a plan for that transplant, right? That is exactly right. There's a transplant in an operation here, but no plan to bring it back. And Donald Trump has a line with Rand Paul, and now even Speaker Paul Ryan has said, no, we can't repeal and then replace later. People call that repeal and delay. But instead, it has to be repealed and replaced almost simultaneously. And so they got to figure out
transplant surgery.
It only works that way in transplants, right? You can't just take it out.
No, it's absolutely true, and so much of our economy is dependent on healthcare. This is a $3 trillion industry, and you can't strangle the insurance companies. You can't leave people without coverage. You know, my question is, so many people on Obamacare, on the exchanges, are actually on Medicaid. Does Medicaid continue to function even if the plan is delayed or there's some temporary stall?
Well, this is where it gets messy, and as you point out, it's all so interwoven, right, between how the care is delivered and how it's governed. So Medicaid, for example, is a big part of it. Expansion of Medicaid provided coverage to a lot of people in those lower to lower incomes. And it was many Republican legislators and governors as well as Democratic legislators and governors who actually pushed it forward in their states. So now by law, they have to provide that expansion. They rely on federal funding to help make that possible. So if you start to cut off the funding, the states are still on the hook for providing the care. So they're not going to be thrilled about that. Even the Republicans who may like the idea of a need the replacement that doesn't leave them on the hook there for unfunded mandates.
Yeah, no, so many states are having trouble as it is, teetering on the verge of bankruptcy in places like California and Illinois. And, you know, I guess we'll see what happens. I hope, beyond optimism, that the free market prevails here, that people get less expensive health insurance coverage, and they actually get better care. I don't know if that'll ever happen, and like you said during the break, no one's ever going to agree on all of the parts that have to replace this ailing health care law. All right, Glenn Hall, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Good to see you.